Today I'm unboxing and trying out a Metabo corded paddle switch die grinder. So let me show you what I got. Over here you can see, well, first thing I noticed is this box can be used for either die grinder, the G400 or the GP400. You can see right up here too. And what I have here is a GP400, which, you know, I'm not sure, but I think that the P stands for paddle switch, because you can see right here, this is the G400 with the side switch and the GP with the paddle switch. So that makes sense to me. But let's get this sucker out and I'll show you what it comes with. Basic type packaging instructions, and there's the die grinder. It's actually a little smaller than I thought compared to my Makita, which I just did a video about. But I mean, well, here, compare it real quick. See, this is called a compact grinder, and this is, you know, I guess a full size, but it's not much bigger. So, give me a second. I'm gonna pull everything out, and I'll show you a little more detail. Well, that's all that was in the box. I mean, well, except for those two of those wrenches, but you know, you get the idea. So, anyways, I think we'll start here with the instructions. You can see right here, you know, covers both models again, just like the box. So, you know, basic, you know, safety and so on, blah 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 blah. But then we got the wrenches here, you know, again, basic, you know, your stamped steel galvanized type wrenches. There's a larger one's 19, smaller one's 13. And, you know, I kind of liked how the Makita came with both the same size. You know, that was, you know, a plus for the Makita. I mean, not that this is a comparison, it's just, you know, that's what I have that to compare it to. So, anyways, back to the Metabo. I don't know the cord length. I'll add it in here, like in a caption or something. And it has this rubber cushion grip thingy that's, you know, nose cover that slides over. So I mean, it's just, you know, slides on. You can use it or you can leave it off, and whatever your preference is. And oh, the collet. Now, on the box here, let's see if we can see right here. You know, for the get so much glare, English. You can see right here. Again, it says 6mm. So that got me a little concerned, because most of the stuff I plan on using is 1/4 inch, you know, basic stuff I can find around me. But you can see right here on the collet, if I can get the focus. Come on, any minute, any minute. Good enough. It says 1/4. Oh, come on, there, 1/4. So 1/4 inch. And the weird thing about the collet is it's trapped. It's trapped in the tightening nut, you know, the collet nut. Unlike the Makita, which, you know, you can see is a 2-piece. So you're like your air grinders, which have 2-piece. Like over here, I got some extra collets because, you know, I often buy grinders, and like right here, this one right here came with an extra collet. You know, see right here. This, it was for 2 different sizes. You know, this is an 1/8 inch, and it comes with 1/4 inch. You know. Anyway, we'll go back to the Metabo. You can see over here, it's, you know, like I said, 1/4 inch, and I wanted to point out here, I think they do it by region. I couldn't find anywhere on the box, like in this side right here, on the label that it says 1/4 inch. There was nothing there that said 1/4 inch. But you can see in the instructions, they offer it in different sizes, so it's probably by region or something. Oh, and another interesting thing I saw about the instructions was the cleaning instructions. To clean motor, apply jets of compressed air. Basically, you clean out at the vents with compressed air. You just take your blowgun and blow it out every now and then, which is interesting because I couldn't find nothing in the Makita instructions about cleaning it. I had to dig them out and check and compare to this. Well, but once again, it's not a comparison, but, you know, I already have that, so there it is. Oh, one last thing about the Metabo before we get started is the paddle switch. I don't know if you can see this. it feels cheap. It feels, the first thing I noticed right when I touched it. It's thin plastic. I mean, of course, this is at the lock, you know, the safety lock. And you can, once that's engaged, you can slide down and hold it wherever. But the switch itself, it just feels like cheap plastic. It's like, which is not good for a tool that you're be using and going on, off, on, off, on, off. You know, versus, you know, you got your rocker switch on this compact Makita. Now, Makita does have their own version of the paddle switch, and I decided to go with this one because I found a promo code. They're similar price, but the promo code I used was like 25 off, so, you know, I was like, you know, I have one Makita, let's try a Metabo. So, there it is. Give me a second here. I'm going to grab some lunch, and we'll set up and give this sucker a shot. Oh, I almost forgot to mention what we're going to try it on. Of course, I got here, move the box. Right here. Like the Makita, in that video, I tried grinding on this head in various spots. So we're going to do the same here. I got some stone set out. We'll give it a shot. Maybe we'll try some sanding rolls and some carbide. So, you know, we'll just, you know, do some of the similar stuff and just some basic cleanup and stuff. Nothing porting or complicated. Just, you know, we'll keep it simple and try it out, and I'll get back to you with that. So, back in a minute. Okay, I went ahead and set up the tripod so I can give you guys a demonstration of the paddle switch. But before we get to that, there's a few things I forgot that I wanted to point out. First off, I thought it was interesting that the collet nut is like galvanized. You know, most nuts seem to be, you know, black or, you know, black oxide or whatever. But, you know, that was just interesting. And also, it appears to be, you know, slightly tapered or radiused. Where compared to other nuts I've seen, they're more square and people will taper and radius it themselves. So there's that, and as I said, a few more things. I'm going to try it with and without the rubber grip just to see, you know, my preference, you know, give you my feedback if I think it needs it. And I will be using a speed controller just like I did with the Makita. So let's get to that paddle switch. You can see right here, just gripping it, you can easily get your pinky on that lock and disable it. You just flip it and then just flip the switch. Now, I also noticed if you let out part of the way, it doesn't, you know, fully engage the lock. So it'll be off, and you can go on, off without engaging the lock. It goes a little bit more for the lock, and so there's that. I just thought that was interesting. Now, right away when I flipped it on, there was something very noticeable compared to the Makita. So we got to do a quick comparison. Again, this is not a comparison video, but you know, I do have both grinders. So, well, this is a compact grinder and this is a full-size grinder. And Makita does have their full size, and it would be interesting to compare that full size paddle versus this one, but this is all I have for now. So right away, let's flip this to full speed. And you can see, when I turn this on, it is not that loud. Let's flip on the Makita, put it about the same spot I had it, flip that on. That is much louder. I hope I didn't spike my mic right there, but quite a bit of difference in volume right away. And that is full speed, and the Makita's plugged into the wall full speed. So for this one, I don't even think you need earplugs. I mean, especially when I flip it to the variable. And we'll turn it's all the way down on the variable. You can see the dial. Flip it on. I mean, that is pretty dang quiet. I could easily talk over that. And then, of course, crank it up. And again, when I use this switch with my pinky, it's off, back on, off, and so on. Also, easily handled with the left hand. Okay, There's that stuff. I just wanted to demonstrate that real quick. Let's get to some actual grinding. I'm going to start with just some basic cleanup, sanding rolls and just cleaning up the exhaust ports, just a little bit. Try this sucker out. I am going to hold it upside down. It looks like it's going to be better to use it this way while seated. So here we go. Almost forgot. Safety first, of course. Anyways, that's why my goatee is all screwed up, because of the mask. So, I initially planned on making, kind of a montage of clips of me using the various consumables, but I'm actually pretty impressed with this Metabo die grinder. You see, it kind of feels in a way like an air grinder almost, because it has like a slow start stop. And that's also probably why it's a little quieter. The speed control also seems to turn it down better, slower than the Makita. So I mean, it's like I said, it feels almost like air, but it's not. Like I said, I was, and that, folks, is why you don't rest your finger on the record button. Anyways, where was I? So I was saying, I started with the sanding rolls, and then I planned to go to the stones, and then the carbide. But now I think we're going to jump right to the carbide, because this Metabo die grinder has potential to be better than the Makita for porting. I mean, I know I said this wasn't a porting video, but we're here, so stay tuned. Well, the Metabo continues to impress me now that I've had a chance to use it with a couple carbides. Of course, I had to drag out the Makita to compare it just to be fair. And air is still my favorite, but like I said earlier, I think the Metabo has good potential for what I like to do. The Makita still has its advantages, which we'll get to that here in a second. Let me show you what I've done. This side I did with the Metabo. I went ahead and did the shared wall and the roof. Let me get a little better light than that. Yeah, sorry, it's not the ideal lighting, but you can see there's the Metabo, there's air, and of course the shared wall. Get a little more light. Air, Metabo. And I think I still prefer air, but this texture, I was able to get it consistent, and that's acceptable. I also went ahead and shaped this guide boss a little bit with both. You can see these guide bosses are pretty big and bulky. So I just was starting to cut it down. It would take me, quite a bit more time to actually get it fully shaped, but I was just testing it out. And I went ahead and tried this shorter burr, which this one is a deep cut and really cuts pretty good in both grinders. And here, the Makita has the advantage with that small nose. The Metabo, I don't know if you can see this here real quick. See if I can get to focus. I went ahead and banged the valve job right there with the Metabo. So that would need to be repaired. I mean, it already does. I mean, this head needs everything, so I have no real plans of using it. But there's that. I think. Okay, that one's on me. I can't blame my finger that time. I got tongue-tied, and here's what I wanted to say to wrap up that clip. So now all there's left to do is try a couple of grinding stones and this little gold carbide like we did last video for some basic cleanup. And then I'll wrap this video up. So, back to work.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
last night, after I got some shots for my montage, I went back to finish up the cylinder head. But because of the Metabo collet nut, I was hitting in all the tight areas like the boss's sides, or here, or the valve cover rail. So, because of the hex style nut on the Metabo, it is not well suited for tight areas with a short shaft stone or carbide burr. The medium shafts or the longer shafts are more ideal for use with that style nut. And if I was going to finish up the cylinder head, which I am not, because I don't plan on using the cylinder head anytime soon, the Makita would be better suited because of its style nut. You can see it's round and smaller. Well, let me set them next to each other to compare. Again, this is not really a comparison, but I have both grinders, so we will compare them. Well, I guess it is technically kind of a comparison now, but anyways, you can see right here the size of the nuts and the size of the nose. Well, technically this one has the grip on it, and without it it's a little smaller, but the nose size doesn't matter as much as the nut, for getting into tight areas with a short shank. Also, before I forget, I want to point out, you can see right here, of course the Makita is shorter, but it is girthier than the Metabo. The Metabo just feels nicer in your hand. This feels a little bulky. Of course, the Makita is lighter than the Metabo. I don't know the exact specs. Maybe I'll put them up later. Now, as far as the grip, I didn't really notice a difference with the grip because the Metabo is already smoother than the Makita. But I did have more experience long-term using the Makita, and it was, a little harder on my hands than Air, which Air is still my favorite, if you can't tell. Still, these are both, pretty decent, decent grinders, and they have, their uses that I will definitely use them for. And the controller also definitely helps out. So, they have their ups and downs. I like the Makita wrenches better. I like the Makita, collet nut, but I like the Metabo paddle switch much better. If I could get a nut like this for the Metabo, remove the grip, and that would be, pretty great in my books. Anyways, I just figured I'd share a few more details. Okay, it's time to wrap this unboxing, comparison, porting video, whatever it is, up. Anyways, the main reason I bought the Metabo, or is that even how you say the name? Is it Metabo, or? Anyways, the main reason I bought it is because I wanted to try a paddle switch die grinder. Basically a dead man switch. If you have a oh crap kind of moment and you instinctively let go, then that's supposedly is safer. And I like the paddle switch. I didn't have any, oh crap moments, but I can see the potential there. Now, the Makita also has a paddle switch, as well as other brands. And if you'd like to see me buy one of those eventually and make a comparison, not right now. I got some parts I've already ordered. They were kind of expensive, so it'll be a while before I make any more die grinder videos. Let me know in the comments what you think. Let me know if you want to see any more die grinder comparisons or so on, your porting and whatnot. Anyways, before I ramble on too much, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and Akuna Metabo. I've been trying to work in that stupid joke all freaking video. Keep it real, guys. See ya.